Morning. This is Pastor Mark McDonald with First United Methodist Church of Batesville, Arkansas with another morning devotional. As I shared in this week's weekly update, I'm beginning some devotionals that I've been led to as I've been looking for the encouragement that the scriptures give us to take courage, to remain steadfast, not to let our guard down. Today, the first one that I start with for our devotionals from the book of Joel in the Old Testament. It is in chapter 2, verse 25. Hear these words, and then I'm going to describe a little bit of the situation. Joel says, God's word is, I will repay you for the years that the cutting locusts, the swarming locust, the hopping locust, and the devouring locust have eaten, my great army which I sent against you. Joel is known for this plague of locusts, but you heard it, 4 different locusts. And he says, God says to them in this message, not only is that going to tear apart things, but in the second chapter, in the verses leading up to 25, God says, but I am going to restore everything, and it's going to be more amazing. As a matter of fact, in verse 21 and verse 22, he says, don't fear, because the Lord is about to do great things. And that's said twice there. He uses words in this passage, starting in the 18th verse of that chapter, going down, that you will be fully satisfied. He's going to pour down abundant rain. Everything's going to bear its fruit. They're going to give their full yield. The Lord is about to do great things. The threshing floors will be full of grain. The vats will overflow with new wine and fresh oil. What God says is that no matter how broken things may feel from this plague of locusts, God is going to make everything even more amazing afterwards. Now, I'm not going to get into all the ideas of the judgment of the locusts, but right now it feels like we're in a plague of locusts. It's not. It is a plague. It's a pandemic that we live in. And this is a powerful word that reminds us that no matter how bad things get, they're never so far gone that God can't restore them. But God promises not just to restore them, but to make them even better, that we'll be fully satisfied. I loved one of the lines in this with that you'll eat all you want, that you'll be full, eat abundantly, and be satisfied in the 26th verse. And it's just powerful to remind us that no matter how bad things are, God can restore us. There's nothing that you can do in your life that God can't fix. There's nothing this world can give us that God can't overcome. In the Methodist Church, we talk about prevenient grace a lot. Prevenient grace. Prevenient is that word that sounds like preventative, and that's just what it is. Prevenient grace is that unmerited favor, that unconditional love that God has for us that says, we cannot go so far away from God that God can't bring us back or we can't get back to God. It's like it's a prevention. It is a hedge of protection around us that God's love is greater than anything that seems to be conquering God's love. God will restore. And it's not just in this passage. In the next devotionals, I'll be doing that. So as we struggle through these last months of the pandemic and see the hope that is coming right now through the vaccines, let us also see a greater hope that God, I believe, is saying to us, your church, your faith is going to be stronger after this than you've ever known it before. You'll be fully satisfied. We'll have our potlucks, we'll have our worship, but more than that, we'll have a depth of faith knowing that we made it through this, that God is always ready to restore. I hope that word carries you through not just this day, but the weeks and months ahead as we start to see the end of this and look forward to what God is going to do when God does great things. Have a great day, have a blessed day, and of course, be a blessing.